everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about a larger age gap in your kids. So, I'm like out of breath. So I'm going to be talking about a larger age gap between my kids, and I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of having a larger age gap between your children. Now, I've been getting like a lot of questions and a lot of controversy I've seen been going around in regards to, waiting too long to have your second child. So I thought it'd be a really great idea for me to kind of just talk to you about the pros and cons of my experiences of having a larger age gap, and kind of maybe to help you, give you, or any parents out there who are dealing with this type of issue, to kind of get a better idea of, the pros and the cons of having a larger age gap. But I'm not done there, because I am doing a collaboration with Laavasmom. And she's going to be doing the pros and cons of having a closer age gap between your children. So I thought that'd be a really great idea for me to talk to you about the larger age gap, and for her to kind of speak to you on the closer age gap, so you can kind of get a better idea for both. So definitely check out her channel so you can kind of see the second half of this video, and I'll leave all of her information down in the description box below. And yeah, so firstly, I'd have to say, should we talk about the pros or the cons first? I'm gonna give you the count of 3 to pick. Alright, that's enough. We're doing the cons first. You wanna know why we're gonna do the cons first? Because, I don't know about you, but I like to hear bad news first. Because after the bad news, I can hear the good news, and then I can leave like a better taste in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to worry about the bad news and being like, well, damn, I forgot about the good news because all I can think about is the bad news. So we're gonna switch it up, and I'm gonna do the cons for you first. All right. So con number 1 of having a larger age gap, I'd have to say, is you have to start over. Yes. Starting over is the issue with the larger age gap, because you kind of get used to, a groove of having an older child, because older children are obviously, they're way more independent. They can kind of do what they want. They can basically raise themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of get into that age, like that group and that groove, like, I already raised you. You can take care of yourself now. But now I got another baby and I gotta start over. That's why, that's I have to say is the con. You definitely have to start over and kind of remember all like the tips and tricks to making sure that your baby stays alive. So I'm just kidding. Like, I'm really not a terrible mother. I really have to tell you. I'm just trying to make this as interesting as possible with a little knowledge. So definitely, yes, definitely it's having to start over. That is a big issue, because like I said, you're kind of getting into this groove of having your older child, and you're being able to do a lot more things because your eldest child is more independent. So then you have another baby, you kind of need to focus all attention on that baby, because obviously babies need a lot of attention. So that's also, I'd have to say, is the one big con. Number 2, the con for having a larger age group, I'd have to say, is they may not have much in common. That could be a pro and a con, because, as the eldest child is doing their own thing, your youngest can be doing their own thing, and they don't have, anything to clash about. So yeah, that could definitely be a pro and a con, is that they may not have much in common. So, number 3 is there's a bigger adjustment. That is a big con, because you're just so used to, having your only child, especially if they've been alone as an only child for so long. That will be an even bigger adjustment, because it's like adjusting to having a new person in the family. Not all eyes are on me anymore. I'm not the only child, so there will be a bigger adjustment. Cuatro. Number 4. The con for number 4, I'd have to say, is definitely they may or may not be close. Now that goes back to just your parenting style. I have a brother who is 10 years older than me, and we are close. 2 peas in a pod. Not really. We're not really 2 peas in a pod, but we are close, I will say. I can sit and talk to him if I needed to, or anything like that. We can hang out and it won't be awkward. So definitely, that just depends on your parenting style. So, and also it just depends on the kids too. You can never tell. You may have children who are closer in age and they just don't have anything in common and they are just not close at all. So it really just depends on the child itself and your parenting style and your environment that you're setting for the babies and your kids. So that may or may not be a con. Is definitely, they may be closer or not. So fifthly is, and I have to say this is my biggest issue, is the commute. Commuting with a baby is hard enough, but having to commute a lot, because my eldest child, he's in first grade, so I'm commuting back and forth to drop him off to school, to pick him up every day. So that gets really draining, and also it gets really hard to kind of, just lug my baby around, especially when they're in their own little time frame and what they want to do and how they're feeling. Sometimes your baby ain't about that life and they don't want to go anywhere and they're just fussing and crying, and I don't know about you, but I get like really bad anxiety when I take my baby out and she starts like freaking out and crying, and I'm just like, oh my god, everybody's looking at me like I'm a bad mama. So that kind of like stresses me out to kind of like, I like to stay home with my kids, So that I'd have to say that is my biggest issue at the moment, is definitely commuting. You may have kids who are in soccer, karate practice, ballet recitals, piano, all that jazz, parent-teacher nights, back-to-school nights, all that stuff. Like, that can get really draining to kind of commute and take your baby along with you to those things as well. So those are my 5 bad, not bad, but those are my 5 cons of having a larger age group. So now that we talked about the cons, let's go into the pros of having a larger age gap. And I have to say, number 1 is my favorite, because you get a lot more help. That is, I have to say, is the biggest thing. You have so much more help when you have an older child, because the elder child is a lot more independent, more responsible, and they know a lot more of how to kind of take direction and order. So if I needed help, like say feeding the baby, like if I'm preparing dinner or cleaning or anything like that, having my eldest being able to be there to help kind of captivate my daughter's attention, play with her, make sure nothing's happening with her, feed her, all of these things he's able to help, and I find that is definitely a big pro for me, having a lot more help. Number 2 is there's less fighting. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be carry on to the future, but as of right now, there's basically no fighting. And I'd have to say maybe even when they get a little bit older, there will be less fighting, just because they're the things that they like, it'll be so different. They'll be in different stages of their life and they don't have anything to really clash over, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there would be less fighting. I don't know, stick around and I'll let you know how that goes, but as of right now, I feel like that is definitely a pro, is that there'll be less fighting. I remember because I have a younger brother, he's 2 years younger than me, and I have an older brother, 10 years older than me. So I'd have to say between the two, I fought the most with my younger brother, just because there was a lot of clashing of interests, and there was also, we kind of were kind of dealing with the same types of things at the moment, and we both had their own opinions. So definitely I fought more as growing up with my younger brother than my older brother. Number 3 is definitely important. You get to focus more on your baby. You get to focus more on the younger child. Now, not to say that you're not going to focus on and neglect your eldest child. That's not the case. But what I'm saying is, say they go to school, they're in school all day or something like that, or your eldest child, like I said, they're more independent. They're doing their own thing. They're doing their homework, playing video games, relaxing, doing them. Whereas the baby needs more attention, and you can focus all your loving and all your attention as much as you can on your baby. So that's definitely a pro, I'd have to say. Number 5. Definitely, did I skip something? I sure did. Number 4. Did I skip that too? Let's just say we're on number 4, because I know I wrote it down on the paper. I wrote it down on my paper, and from what I see, I think I skipped number 4. So, number 4, money. Yes, girl, we get to save lots of money. Now, instead of having to spend, for example, 2 diapers or 2 packs of diapers, you're only paying for 1 pack of diaper, because you're just paying for your baby's diapers, and the other kid, your eldest child is already potty trained and they don't have anything like that to worry about, or like say like there's no baby shampoos to buy and baby soaps, and they can use like the regular soaps and all that stuff. So you definitely save a lot of money in regards to your children with a larger age gap. And like low-key, you could spend that money on something for yourself, like buy yourself something nice. I'm just saying. So definitely saving money is a pro in my book. So number 5, the last pro, is you definitely have more patience, because you're just kind of focusing on one baby. You're focusing on one crying baby instead of focusing on 2 crying babies. So that's also could be less stress on your mind and your body dealing with 2 babies instead of just the one. So definitely patience, I have to say, is another top for me for pros in regards to having a larger age group for your kids. So yeah, if you guys, what is happening up there? My mom's here, she's watching the kids right now, and I hear my baby crying. Okay, it stopped. That could be a positive thing. It stopped because she's not sad anymore, or stopped because it got real quiet. She got real quiet. Anyways, so I'm sure she's fine. I'd like to believe she's fine. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you did, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!